Okay, so we're gonna do some imperial measurement converting. So right over here, I just put some common imperial conversions, or just the ones that we need for this part here. So we have 3 feet is equal to 1 yard, 12 inches is equal to 1 foot, and then 36 inches is equal to 1 yard. So I'm just gonna do a couple with you, and then you're going to finish the rest. So I'm gonna set up a ratio every single time. Now, if you don't need to and you just know how to do the conversion by multiplying or dividing, please, by all means, do that. But I am going to set up a conversion every time. So 5 yards to feet. So I'm going to take my conversion. 3 feet is 1 yard. So 3 feet is 1 yard. And I'm just going to set up a conversion. So my yards have to stay on the bottom. So 5 yards. So I have yards on the bottom here, yards on the bottom there. And I'm looking for feet. How many feet is 5 yards? So if I'm looking for this question mark, I'm going to cross multiply. Every time we have a ratio to a ratio, we can cross multiply and divide. So I like to circle the numbers that I'm cross multiplying and then divide by whatever is left over. If you're not sure which way to cross multiply and divide, it's impossible to cross multiply the other way because I'm trying to multiply an unknown. So the only way to cross multiply is this way. So I have 5 times 3, which is 15, divide by 1, which is 15. So my answer here is 15 feet. Now, if you could do that without setting up a conversion, great. But I'm just going to set up a conversion every time. So I'm going to convert 51 inches to feet and inches. So I'm going to go into my conversion here, which is 12 feet is 1 inch. 12 inches is 1 foot. So 12 inches is the same as 1 foot. So I always keep my conversion on top of each other. It doesn't matter which way you write it. And that is equal to, I have 51 inches, and I want to know how many feet and inches it is. So first I'm just going to convert it to feet, and then I'm going to find out how many inches that is. So cross multiply, divide by what's left over. So 51 times 1 is 1. And then I would do 51 divide times 1 is 51. And then 51 divide by 12, 4.25 feet. Now, this does not mean 0.25 inches, okay? Decimal places are out of tenths. So this does not mean 0.25 inches. This means 0.25 of 12 inches. So a quarter of 12 inches. So the word of means multiply. So that's 0.25 of 12 inches, which will give you 3. Okay, so this is 0.25 times 12, which is 3. So this is actually 4 feet, 3 inches. Now, again, if you wanted to check that, we could say, all right, I know that 4 times 12, because there's 12 inches in a foot, is 48, plus 3 inches, that gives me 51. All right, which is exactly what I have there. So I'm going to let you finish the rest. All right, we're going to do some word problems here. I'm just going to do one with you, and then I'm going to get you to finish the rest. I will post the worked through examples for you to check that you're getting it correct. So Clark Kent put new sod on his front lawn this summer. Each roll of sod measured 1 foot wide by 3 feet long. What would the measurements be in yards? Okay, so we do know that 3 feet is equal to 1 yard. Now, you don't need to memorize that. That will always be given to you. Any conversion will be given to you, okay? So I want to convert. I have 1 foot. So I want to convert 1 foot. Well, first I'm going to start with my conversion. So I have 3 feet is 1 yard. And I want to know how many yards is 1 foot. So again, some of you might know right away what to do, but if not, that's fine. Just follow along here. I'm going to cross multiply, divide. So 1 times 1 is 1. 1 divided by 3 is 0.3 repeating, or 1/3 of a yard, or you can write it as 0.3 repeating yards. Okay. Now, the other one, wide by 3 feet long. So this one should be fairly obvious, but we will write it out anyways. So my conversion is 3 feet by 1 yard, and I want to know how many yards 3 feet is. So hopefully you can see this without having to cross multiply and divide, but if not, that is totally fine. 3 times 1 is 3. divided by 3 is 1. So that gives me 1 yard. So the new measurements in yards would be 0.3 yards by 1 yard. There we go. Okay, so this is solving a problem involving 2 unit conversions. The school council has 6 yards of fabric that will be cut into strips 5 inches wide to make decorative banners for the school dance. How many banners can be made? So we have 2 different units here. You have to be really careful when you're doing problems like this, that we're working with the same units. So I'm going to change yards into inches. So I know that there's 36 inches is equal to 1 yard. Again, I give that to you. You don't need to memorize that, okay? So I have, first I'm going to write my conversion. So that's 36 inches is the same as 1 yard. And I'm going to convert, I want to know how many inches 6 yards is, okay? So this is what I don't know. I want to know how many inches. Inches stay on the top, yards go on the bottom. And I'm just going to cross multiply and divide. Now, remember that it actually doesn't matter if my yards go on the top, as long as both sets of my yards are on the top and both sets of my inches are on the bottom. We're going to get the same answer. So 6 times 36. Let's do that. 6 times 36. 216. So I have 216 inches to work with, and I want to cut it into strips 5 inches wide. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take this and I'm going to divide it by 5, and that's going to tell me how many decorative banners I'm going to be able to make. So 216 divided by 5, 43.2. So that's 43.2. So really I should only be able to make 43 banners. Again, I'm going to get you to finish this next one, and then I'll post the worked out question.